Hello, you guys, and welcome to like the first episode of this kind of like new series. So basically, in this series, we are going to it's not really it's not a series. It's not a series, but I I like to watch political content and stuff like that. So I was like, well, how about we watch it together? Because, it's just the difference of like I can't watch this in the comfort of my bed or something like that, but it's fine. This is about 54 minutes long, so I don't know. Maybe I will like stop this or something halfway through, finish tomorrow. I don't know. Gonna try to watch all this. I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, simply of the fact that it is 54 minutes long. So, yeah. I did watch her debate with that other guy. There was a 3 hour long, like, debate. I will not be watching that with you guys. That's 3 hours and 11 minutes long. It's extremely long. Very, very much extremely long. So, yeah. I do have my microphone here. I don't know if it's working. It's not, like, connected to my phone. So, I mean, if it doesn't, like, work, then it don't work, honestly. It's kind of just so it'll, like, look better, look more professional. I don't really know. Okay, I have Oreo down here too, but yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started because it is 11:30 p.m. So let's get started.
All right, you guys, happy Tuesday to everyone except the people who think that we need positive evidence to share our opinions and cannot comprehend why that's patently ridiculous.
Look, I'm speeding it up a little bit.
Delicious when pregnant. Where's your positive evidence for that? Shh. We can just say what we think, put ideas together. And as stated yesterday, there must be a sentence handed down from the court of Candace for Turning Point USA's misdemeanor offense. They ran afoul of CO code 92784, colluding with debate bro slobs to attack me, violating my personal space, ignoring the rules, having the permanent creep Steven Crowder sneak his CEO into my home to join Steven's show from my children's playroom without my consent, without my knowledge. None of that can be tolerated under the current law that we have on the books. We all know what their punishment is. So what their punishment always is, I am the magistrate. Therefore, the judge and the jury, they have been sentenced to what they hate the most. More truth. Welcome back to Candace. Get ready because it's another big one. It is explosive. We have something to share that's never been seen, our favorite. But first, we have to jog your memory of whence we came. And I want you to lock in, really pay attention to the details. They matter. So I'm going to ask you the question, what was the original moment that made people suspicious of what happened on September 10th? What was the first thing that you saw online that made your eyebrow raise, so to speak? I would offer that it was when Terrell Farnsworth, Turning Point USA's audio and visual lead, he runs Visual Impulse, was seen taking down the cameras, particularly actually taking down one camera, the camera behind Charlie's head. This turned out was less than 4 minutes after Charlie was hit. We know he went up and he recorded himself. He announced that Charlie was dead. He went down and he began removing that camera in particular. Before anybody knew who he was, I knew who he was, but the rest of the world just knew what's going on.
Pause. First things first. When somebody is murdered, when somebody's killed, the last thing that you should be doing is taking down the cameras. You should not worry about the cameras. You should worry about trying to getting him to the hospital. No. And first things first, I mean, I would think at every debate, every what's it called? Like when he did that and stuff like that, that Charlie would have ambulances and stuff on, an ambulance on site, paramedics on site, professionals that that know what they're, you know what I mean, that know what they're doing. So I don't know if he did or not, but I don't think that he did. So I don't know. Okay, let's resume.
Why are we violating a crime scene? Why is somebody moving a chair that Charlie was just sitting in to stand up and take.
Exactly. First of all, you should not touch that chair. We know I'm not saying that he got shot because I don't know. That's what they say, but we don't know. So you should not be touching that chair. No.
That camera down. And I actually should be honest, unlike the rest of the world, I was not immediately suspicious because I knew Terrell. You'll recall this, right? I reached out to him, known him for years, and I said, what's up? I assumed that there had to be some sort of a reasonable explanation. That conversation took place, remind you, on September 18th. Reached out to Terrell, got him on the phone, was expecting something simple, and instead, it was the phone call itself that made me feel suspicious. I went to my team, something is wrong. I've gone over this moment to you guys so many times. It's because Terrell was nervous. He was offering me various increasingly bizarre reasons as to why he could not show me the back footage. People thought maybe the back footage caught the person from a crowd that was, shot Charlie. And I just said, okay, let me see it. And he said he didn't want to share it because he didn't want Erica to see Charlie get hit in 4K.
Well, first things first, I don't think with the investigation stuff, you can't show that footage to anybody but like the police. So I don't think no. So yeah, he would not have been able to show that to her. And first of all, Erica would not see it if he just sent it to Candace. So yeah.
And I said, okay, well, it doesn't need to be shared. You can just tell me and I'll tell audiences that I saw it and everything's okay. And the craziest part of all was him telling me, again, you'll recall, I said this to you right when it happened, specifically, that he did not know how to send the file to me. He said, just send it to me. I'll watch it. Obviously, I won't share it.
That's a
and
lie.
He said, I don't know how to send the file. And I said, Carol, you run an AV company. What do you mean you don't know how to send a file? And then he admitted that he did know how to send a file, but he didn't want to do it for fear that Google might hack him. Go back, watch the episodes. That's what he said. I've got proof that Google might hack him. What? But you see, it turns out that now we know that Terrell lied to me. Terrell's a liar. I sensed it then, yes. I had an immediate intuition that Terrell was lying to me, that he maybe did know how to send a file, but he wasn't actually fearful that Google might hack him. They keep telling us our intuition means nothing, right? But guess what? My intuition and vibe in that matter has been proven correct. It was confirmed when the preliminary hearing took place, actually. You may have missed it. I'll slow that down for you. The lead investigator on the case, SBI agent David Hull, explained on the stand on September 10th. So that would be 8 days before I spoke to Terrell. Actually, on the very day of the assassination, Terrell apparently did know how to send footage, and he chose to do that via a Google link. He used the very company that he would then tell me 8 days later he was afraid was going to hack him. That makes Terrell a liar. He lied to me. I don't like when people lie to me. And I said there is entirely no dispute that he lied to me about his fear of a hack because he actually signed and submitted an 1102 statement to that effect. It was entered in and discussed during hearing. We can show you this statement from Terrell. And it tells us, and I'm going to read the first part first. On September 10th, I, Terrell, first person here, was present at the Turning Point USA Utah Valley University event. Myself and my team were there to provide audio video equipment, setup, management, and support as we had done for Mr. Charlie Kirk for years. Our camera setup consisted of 3 angles. An angle directly on Charlie, an angle on the individual asking questions, and a wider angle behind Charlie that showed the audience and the crowd reaction. Okay, so a wider angle behind Charlie that showed the audience and the crowd reaction. That day, on September 10th, I provided...
Okay. What? Okay, what's going on here? Come on. Okay, we're back. Had a little power outage there. Oh my gosh. Okay.
SBI with 4 videos through a Google Drive. And then you see the link. And he tells you what those videos are labeled. Okay. And then he says these videos were taken by me and my team at the UVU event on September 10th, 2005. These videos, as they were provided to SBI, are a true and correct representation of what took place at UVU. Okay.
I run a podcast, so no producer.
That first portion first. He says that there are 4 videos that he sent to them. He says that there are 3 cameras. I don't remember which cameras we saw around Charlie, generally speaking. Now, there is one moving camera that
there was more than 4,
which may potentially be the 4th camera, which was operated by a guy that seemed to be floating from side to side. I'm going to show you that. I'm, again, assuming this might have been a contractor, and maybe Terrell got that footage from him, and he was going from side to side. You remember him. But the more pertinent ones are the 3 static cameras that he is representing in his statement that he was operating. Here's the diagram of those static cameras, the 3 shots. Now we have one to the front left side of Charlie that is being operated by Robert Golo. In theory, I would say that it is actually the camera that is circled in blue right there. The yellow one is operated by Robert Golo. That's the
I
one
think
that's
that
going to
one
be
was the
facing
one
the
that
person that's asking
moved.
questions. The one
Like
that is in
that
blue
one
is the one
don't
that I would
move,
say
and then
would
that
carry the
one
most critical
was
graphic up
behind
close
him.
evidence of Charlie Kirk
So
being
that
shot.
would show
right?
what happened
That's the one
behind.
that was being operated by Jordan Wilson.
And
in other
also
words,
the
if I were
crowd.
trying to gather evidence very quickly within minutes of Charlie Kirk being shot, I'd go blue. That's an opinion. I'm saying were I in control of the AV department and I was trying to be
I would
useful
go
to police,
blue
I'd probably grab
and
that
red.
footage as critical evidence.
I would
and then
gra- I
I
would
would
grab
grab that
both.
footage of what's circled in yellow, which we just discussed.
Both.
That is, as he described, pointing to the person that's asking questions. We know that has some rotating capability. I'd probably grab that 1 second, right? If you're trying to help detectives secure the best footage to scan the crowd.
Get all
since
of
that is
them,
the crowd
actually.
footage, as he demonstrated.
Yeah, I do blue, yellow, and
I'd
red.
go, okay, number 2. 1, 2. I'm trying to be useful.
Okay.
That third camera, to me, if I'm running this event, is instantly the most irrelevant because A, it's facing downward. B, it's behind Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
And traditionally, in case you're wondering or need reminding, all it showed was a view of what was happening below and around Charlie's feet and captured some audience, right? But not one of the yellow cameras.
Okay, then yeah,
red camera,
blue and yellow.
To capture the audience, you go with the yellow. And the reason why I'm saying traditionally that is what it showed is because there was a massive discovery from YouTuber Nissy when she realized that Terrell Farnsworth, when he finally did show me the completely non-graphic footage from behind Charlie's head, had presented to me what appeared to her to be a zoomed-in shot from that camera. This is important that we go back and we revisit what it is that Nissy caught about that camera. Take a listen.
In this footage that Terrell has selectively shared with Candace, we can't see the ground where Charlie had been sitting. You're probably thinking, okay, so what? Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, I'll show you what. On February 28th, 2025, the American Comeback Tour did a stop at Florida State University, and here is the back camera shot. On March 3rd, 2025, the American Comeback Tour did a stop at the University of Southern California, and here is the back camera shot. Here's San Francisco, here's San Diego, Long Beach, Boise, Idaho, Washington State. Do you notice a pattern? The camera is a wide-angle camera and was always used as such. However, in the footage that Terrell has selectively shared with Candace, you cannot see the ground. So either that day at UVU, they had changed things up and they had zoomed in the camera so that you couldn't see the area around Charlie, or Terrell had zoomed in after the fact and he was showing a cropped version of the footage to Candace.
Why did Terrell do that? And we've already demonstrated from Terrell's 1102 statement that he's willing to lie to me, so I don't think we can go directly to him and ask that question. We're going to have to continue to prod this narrative on our own to join Nissy. She raises an important question. Did Terrell do this after the fact? When did he do this? Because what we learn is compelling from Agent Holt, that on September 10th, Terrell did not give them the SD cards. So we see him, we're going to show you him race to take down that camera to then take the SD card out of that camera. And our assumption was that he handed that over to the SBI that was in charge of the investigation. But Hull is going to testify that no, Terrell gave them a flash drive. This means that Terrell inserted that SD card into a computer and then copied the footage onto a flash drive and similarly created Google links, even though days later he would be concerned that Google might hack him. Initially, he gave them Google links, but not the original SD card. Why? Why not hand the direct SD card over to the SBI's lead investigator? I mean, did Terrell think that they were not equipped with knowledge of how to use an SD card? Even I am, and I'm terrible at technology. But let's listen to Agent Hull's testimony, because actually, kind of absurd to consider that.
Agent Hull, any more video? Did you collect it, or either you or another agent with the SBA?
Yes, we were able to collect video. TPUSA had a videographer, Visual Impulse, who was taking coverage of the event, and they provided video to us that they had captured on September 10th of 2025.
And do you know who or how that video was collected from Visual Impulse?
Yeah, Mr. Farnsworth originally provided, I believe, a flash drive to Lieutenant O'Brien with one of the local agencies, and a short time after that.
First things first, the FBI, once the FBI, whatever was there, they should have got, the SD card and, not, they should not, this is my opinion, this is what I think, none of the people, none of them that, are in charge of, the cameras and all that stuff, make sure the angles are good for Charlie, none of them should have been allowed to touch any of the cameras. The cameras should have had to stay rolling until, the FBI or whatever got there. Now, I don't know. Yeah, or at least until they got, like they were told that they can like stop the cameras and all that stuff, but they should not have been allowed to touch the cameras because that is like the cameras kind of show what happens. Like the cameras like will show what happened. So yeah.
September 10th, he provided downloadable versions, electronic versions to Agent Mortensen. And an 1102 was captured from him on May 6th of 2026.
Not the SD card, though. So when the footage began going viral, the clip of Terrell taking down that camera in particular, people online, I think, rightfully speculated that there must have been something really important about that back footage behind Charlie's head specifically. And then people were gaslit. We were told, no, there was nothing unique about that camera. There was nothing unique about that footage in particular. Terrell actually grabbed all of the footage, and he did so because people were stealing and people are evil, which we then said our common sense went, that doesn't really make sense, because if he was worried about people stealing, like, wouldn't he be concerned with the camera? It was just the SD card that he took out. It was Andrew Colvett who offered that excuse, by the way, to Tucker Carlson. Again, I'd like to remind you, here's what he said.
So Charlie was very well aware of the existence of evil, obviously. So were us on his team. You know, there's by the way, just one other conspiracy theory I just want to snuff out here. One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother, he grabbed the SD cards out of the camera afterwards. And there's all these conspiracy videos about why did he grab the SD cards? Well, first of all, they're in the possession of the FBI. Okay. It's not like he took them and like ran off with them. Second of all, I asked him personally, I said, why did you do that? And he looked at me and this was his answer. He said, because I know people can be evil.
Oof.
And he did not want that footage being grabbed by somebody. There was videos of people after the incident going and stealing hats off the table. I mean, so I'm so grateful.
First things first, their hats. Charlie and them, they throw hats to people. People are probably they're gonna get the hats either way. They're just hats, you know. That they're just hats. And yeah. I don't have nothing else to say.
Did that, and that was his instinct. He's like, I'm depressed to know that was why I did that, but I knew that I had to protect that footage because I wanted. I mean,
what? That makes no sense. What?
You're recording in like 4K, you know, and so I'm so glad he did that.
It's beautiful.
What?
It's beautiful. I like to. He said, because I know people can be evil. Let me try that again.
They would steal the cameras.
Because I know people can be evil. Okay, one more time. I just want to give it as much passion as Andrew did. Took the SD cards because I know people can be evil. Beautiful, beautiful. Really, the Academy Award goes to you, Andrew. But you said cards, and what we noticed was that it was card. It was that one first. It struck me and others as odd, but here's Andrew reinforcing the narrative that this is a conspiracy theory. There was nothing special about that particular footage behind Terrell's head. He was actually worried about all of it. But actually, if you keep reading Terrell's 1102 statement, it flies in the face of what Andrew has said. There was something unique about the footage behind Charlie's head. There had to be something particular about that footage, which moved Terrell, or maybe someone in the SBI, but it's not clear, to create a clip out of only the footage behind behind Charlie's head. Just that back footage. We're going to read the rest of the statement, okay? Terrell writes in the statement, and we can pull up that statement if you guys have it. It reads, regarding the clip, which has been labeled 80704, turning point footage of the crowd and behind Charlie, I have reviewed, and from what I can see, it is a true and correct representation of a portion of the larger files previously sent to SBI. So let me slow that down.
Kind of blurry, but
what we are learning is that they had 4 videos. Pull that back up, please, and you can split this. They had 4 videos in total, and you can bring me in on this just so I can explain this. And of those 4 videos, they're telling us the length of each of those videos here. One is 26 minutes, another one is 26 minutes, another is 26 minutes, and a fourth one is 23 minutes. So that, I'm assuming represents, because this Charlie got hit very quickly into the event, that this represents the full length of all of that footage of the cameras that I showed you. Despite having all of that footage, they decided to clip from the camera behind Charlie's head a special clip. And that is what Terrell is saying, you know, I believe is the true representation of the footage that was recorded. Why did they need to clip out from the full footage of that camera just a little 3 minutes clip? That's the question, okay? So what we can discern from this is that for whatever reason, of all the camera footage that was provided across 4 cameras, only one of the 4 cameras that had footage, they felt they needed to turn into a clip.
okay.
Like I said, we're not sure if Terrell clipped it or if it was SBI that clipped it. We do know that Terrell was the first to touch that footage. And we do know that the footage wound up clipped, and Terrell is testifying in a statement that from what he can see, it appears to be a true and correct representation of the portion of the larger files. Now, the way that he is phrasing that is interesting. A true and correct representation, because it would still be true and correct. It would still be a true and correct representation if it was zoomed in. We learned that during the whole back and forth regarding 12.1 and 12.4 in the courtroom when they were debating. They got to see zoomed in footage, but they were like, is this still a true representation of what happened? We're just zooming in and making some circles. So Terrell is basically saying it's still a true representation. It's plausible that the only reason they would have to clip that out is because it was zoomed in. You would have to create a new clip if you were zooming it in. You couldn't just run that in the entire content. So again, I want to underscore what I'm saying to you here. Okay, you would have to clip the footage in order to zoom it. I am making the case based on Terrell's 1102 that the footage behind Charlie's head was specifically clipped. And I'm also going to make the case that contrary to what Andrew Colbert is saying, there was something special about that footage behind Charlie's head, and Terrell beelined to it in particular. And he was nervous about that footage in particular.
What if there's someone in the crowd that shot him?
Because he did not instantly grab all of the SD cards. He grabbed that one, and he did it nervously. That's what people saw. He was looking around to see who was watching him as he took only the SD card from that camera before he disappears behind the tent. Let's watch that together. Here he is. Here he is.
Looking around, being very nervous. Grabs the chair, shouldn't have touched the chair at all.
If you're worried about theft, take the whole camera. It's pretty small. It's in your hand. He doesn't do that. He takes it apart, and he takes the SD card out.
Everyone doesn't even look like phased.
He looks around. He wants to see who's looking at him.
They just look kind of normal.
And then he looks down at it and he walks around. And we had wondered, what did Terrell do when he walked around?
Hides behind
He doesn't address
the
any
tent.
other camera there, just that one. Well, you don't have to wonder what he did anymore, because today I can tell you what Terrell did. Because I've actually known what Terrell did since October.
Oh my God.
As I was wondering who could be trusted at Turning Point USA. And like I said to you instantly,
what did he do?
There was a network of government employees that were fighting to get the truth out and wondering who they could trust as well. And now appears to be the moment to not tell you what Terrell did, but to rather show you and let you draw your own conclusions about whether Terrell appeared concerned about anything other than that particular footage, okay? Here's what Terrell did thereafter, seen for the first time. Terrell is there.
Okay.
He looks around, again, nervously.
Gets something out of his pocket.
And he puts
it in his
the SD card in his pocket.
Oh.
And he zips up. He doesn't run to the other cameras and try to grab the SD card. Instead, what he does is he whips out his phone and he begins texting with someone. And that's what he does. He's texting with someone to say what?
We need his phone.
Who's he texting?
We need to see his phone. Which
What's he saying?
I'm sure the messages are
If he's just out there
deleted by this
evil
point, but
and worried about securing the footage, why didn't he grab the other SD card or 3 of them in a row?
why did he grab the
Who
cameras?
is he in communication with after he grabs that? Because I gotta tell you something, Andrew. Were it me, and I was amongst my peers sitting on a jury, I would not accept your narrative that he looks like he's worried about people stealing. Not about the hats, not about the other footage, not about the cameras.
They didn't grab the hat.
It looks to me like, and again, this is my opinion.
But they're hats.
It looks to me like he's completing a task and checking in with someone to say that a task is completed. Maybe, I don't know. I'm open to everything. Maybe there was some police officer who told him to take that footage in particular.
Yeah,
I'm told
maybe.
that didn't happen. And I will say this, that when someone demonstrates that they are capable of lying to you, you have a right to take note. And Terrell lied to me. He lied to me about his fears regarding Google. It is therefore my opinion on the basis of everything that we are observing with our eyes, everything that I am observing with my 2 eyes, his mannerisms, the beeline to that footage so quickly, within 4 or 5 minutes, as if that had to be secured. The 1102 statement, where we know that that footage in particular was clipped. I'm speculating because it was zoomed in. The questions that Kathy Nestor asked thereafter, things that she asserted about they don't know whether or not that footage was edited. Your claim that the FBI has it. Why? It's a Utah case. Why would the FBI have the SD cards? Okay. When I observe everything with my eyes, again,
I didn't know if it
I don't
was
think
like
they're going to call me for jury duty in Utah.
I didn't know what it was.
But it demonstrates to me that footage was prioritized.
Yeah,
so
I
now
guess
the question is
it
what?
wouldn't be the FBI, I don't know.
It was zoomed in, and if Nissi is correct, and this was unusual and knew that footage would be zoomed in, then the only thing that would be accomplished by that sort of a crop and a zoom in would be not showing us what happened below Charlie. But I need that footage. I'm being sued by Brian Harple. I'm going to need that footage. I'm going to trace that footage and to be able to understand the custody of that footage and whether or not, as Kathy Nestor is asking, it was edited before it was given.
It definitely looks like it was edited because it was kind of blurry.
And I'm genuinely asking questions here. But why did Terrell tell me that he spoke with Erica about that footage specifically? Again, he was lying a lot on that phone call.
Why would he speak to Erica about that?
The truth. but I do know and I have proof that that's what he told me. And why did Turning Point USA gaslight us about the significance of the footage? Now we can read the case and see that there was something about that footage that required something different than the other cameras and the other videos that were running. It's significant enough for the SBI to create a specialized clip from it, or Terrell to create a specialized clip from it. Why continually gaslight the public into believing otherwise, pretending there's nothing interesting there? Terrell just violated a crime scene to secure it because he was worried about evil. Because people can be evil.
They can, but they are.
Is the SD card still in his right pant pocket, Andrew?
But
Terrell, anybody? You say it was given to the FBI? Okay, well, why? It's a state crime. The FBI, under the law, is allowed to assist. They don't have jurisdiction over the crime, over the state. In all practicality, the SBI should have been handed the SD card, and then if they wanted to, they could have handed it off to the FBI, but that should have been the flash drive copy.
okay.
Anyway, I'm going to continue to think while it's still legal to do so. And I'm certain the internet will join me in that exercise. We'll be right back after a brief break. All right, you guys, I want to pass USA residents only. Oh, so many things that I know. And I think the biggest thing is don't send a slob to my house.
Fixing the mic.
I don't do that. Please don't do that again. Especially when I am pregnant with a boy. It's deeply upsetting to me and it's unnecessary. Andrew, Erica in particular, you guys are really starting to partner with people who are interested in trying to psychologically go after me and my family, torment us, publishing things about my children's cars and the vehicles that they travel in. I think you should stop doing that. If I could just put something in the suggestion box, just call off the dogs. Or don't, and we can keep having fun. Anyway, speaking of this totally inappropriate chain of custody, the FBI jumping on the case like cowboys, that's not how this works, actually. They are supposed to be used because your tax dollars pay for these things when there is a case that obviously violates federal law. If it's happening on federal property, you don't get to have cowboy Kash Patel just go, I'm just going to come and bring everybody with me and take over the whole case and evidence. Yes, the State Bureau of Investigations, as you saw, can reach out to the FBI and help ask them to assist with certain testing and things of that nature. But the custody goes SBI and then FBI. So why the FBI interjected so quickly is in and of itself kind of a conspiracy. There was a man named John Kiriko, who is a former CIA officer who had a conscience back in 2007 during the quote-unquote war on terror. He became a government whistleblower about how some of the terrorists were being tortured. Anyway, John Kiriko went on to the Danny Jones podcast, and here is what he had to say about the FBI's involvement in the Charlie Kirk case.
Why is the FBI involved in this? Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah by a kid from Utah who left his house in Utah, drove to the university in Utah, and allegedly shot Charlie Kirk. Nobody ever crossed the state line. There's literally nothing in this case that would make it federal, unless there was a conspiracy, in which case it would be a federal case and the FBI would be involved. So Kash Patel was asked this early on, and he said, we're just offering the FBI's expertise to the Utah State Police. Like, really? Is that just what it is? Because offering your expertise means sticking stuff in a FedEx and sending it to Utah so they can do with it what they want. Or maybe you put one FBI, lab person at their disposal. You don't have the FBI director fly out there with a plane load of FBI agents. It's not a federal case. I don't understand.
He is correct. This is unusual, and you have a right to feel that this is very suspicious. You have a right to ask questions, as I demonstrated in my back and forth with Andrew Wilson. You have a right to look at this and go, hey, it's very strange that Kash Patel apparently shuts down Joe Kent, who wanted to investigate whether or not there are foreign ties. If there are no foreign ties, then why would you have an issue with people investigating those non-existent foreign ties? And then people say, hey, I think there's foreign ties. You gaslight them and say you have no positive evidence. How come we have positive evidence when the department that's supposed to find that positive evidence is told don't do that? And then we have Turning Point USA, who's upset with the person who wanted to investigate those ties, but not upset with Kash Patel. Going to events with Kash Patel, dressed up, your buddy. People are starting to notice that all of this does feel and look like a conspiracy. Who are the players involved? We don't know. But as I said, as they were intentionally trying to trip me into a lawsuit, so you can see they're all salivating for me to be sued. Turning Point, sue her, take her money, shut her down, bankrupt her.
Sue her for what?
She won't let it go, bankrupt her. Okay. Well, guess what? People are taking notice of that being odd as well. You're going after the people who are investigating it, and you're becoming increasingly more vicious in how you do it. You're spending a lot of money to do it. You are lying on record, getting caught in lies, and then gaslighting us by saying you don't have a right to recognize those lies. You have no right to recognize those lies. It's demonic for you to notice them. It's not working. And this has gone mainstream, obviously, and it is being discussed on the biggest platforms in the world, whether that's Sean Ryan or more recently Joe Rogan, who had a laugh alongside his guests Mark Normand, Shane Gillis, and Ari Schaefer as they were discussing the Tyler Robinson case and the odd and increasingly odd public relations campaign that is surrounding Erica Kirk. Take a listen.
I get it. Wearing that mask for a little bit, though, I genuinely, both Duncan and I, both gained respect for the furries.
Yeah, but then they shoot the president.
Nah, I don't know if they
Wasn't that
did.
guy a furry?
No, he loved a furry.
Oh, he loved a furry. So.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure if that's true.
Right.
The more time goes on, the more I'm leaning towards Candace Owens. I don't think any story that you hear in the news is accurate.
I think there's always
none.
or spin on it at least.
There's always some spin.
But the
and so
public
whatever the
believes
spin is about
First things first. I'm very sure that Trump was shot. Definitely shot. Yeah, definitely shot.
Robinson, there's some bull to it. I don't know how much of it is bull, but there's some bull. One of the more recent bull is they found a photo that they were saying was Tyler Robinson, but then people noticed that the because he's real thin, people noticed that the cars in the background, the proportions were distorted. And then they realized that what they had done was taken a guy who's like much wider than Tyler Robinson and shrunken the perspective.
Really?
Yep. And then when you see him for what he really looks like, oh, there's no way that's that guy. That guy's big.
And then you're like, well, it's mostly true. Like, no, it's shifting.
No, they changed. Like, you look at the hood of the cars behind them; they're all like that now.
Who was that guy?
What guy?
Tyler Robinson.
He's the guy who supposedly shot Charlie Kirk.
Kirk, yeah, not the president.
Have you ever seen Drewski's America Kirk?
Yeah, I
Didn't
thought that was
people
America.
threatening him? They're going to sue him for that.
I don't know. It's funny.
Which was
He's
the
so
best
funny.
thing that ever
Stares at the
happened to him.
camera.
When he came out, he starts doing cartwheels with white face on.
White face.
He's killing it, that guy. Every video kills
Yeah.
it. When he goes to the NASCAR,
Yeah, he's
unbelievable.
Funny dude. Funny dude. People that got upset with that, shut up.
I know.
You don't think it's weird the lady comes out to sparklers behind her? You're out of your that's insane. You don't think
There was
someone can
one
make fun of
comment
that?
Walks out like Randy Orton. Goldberg coming out.
He's coming out like Undertaker.
The Queen wore black for 80 years.
Crazy.
In an interview, she dresses like SEAL Team 6. She's all blacked out with like a black hat and everything.
She's serious, bro.
She's serious.
Very serious.
She's very
Cool. She's serious.
You just have to love guy chat. That's exactly how everyone is speaking behind the scenes, and you just have to love Joe Rogan for having the courage to just have a boys chat publicly, which everyone's relating to and laughing to, except for Turning Point USA, because this has been their PR strategy, this bizarre strategy to go after the comedians for noticing, to go after people for noticing, for trying to entrap them into lawsuits by sending D-list debater bros who know nothing about the case for trying to investigate the case. And it's backward. The best thing that they could have done would have been to say and do nothing for at least a year, rather than partnering with Charlie's enemies, saying that his friends were enemies and that his enemies were friends. None of this is making any sense, and we have now reached peak comedy with people now just leaning into it and mocking it, and somehow they continue to go after me as if I were not here, this conspiracy would somehow stop. I'd like to remind everybody I was the last.
It would not stop. Now, it might be a little bit different, but it wouldn't stop. Like the conspiracy would be like different maybe, but it would not go away. No.
To comment publicly about the strange behavior of Erica Kirk, and I only weighed in beginning in December when she went on to a press tour and explicitly shared something that was untrue, that the night before Charlie was not sending messages saying that he feared for his life. So we are to believe that Charlie did not share it.
Well, if he feared for his life, why would he do it though? Why would he go to the campus? Why would he do it? Why wouldn't he do it inside or something like that? Like, I don't know.
Here with his wife at all? The night before, when she says he was just so excited to do what he's always done, so excited to go to UVU, he couldn't sleep. Maybe he couldn't sleep because he thought he was going to be killed. That makes more sense to me. Never known Charlie to not sleep over a tour stop of a place that he's already been. this is not a thing. But maybe he, down the line, became so excited about going to tour stops that he couldn't sleep. He was eating in the middle of the night. It's not adding up. Anyway, another video I want to show you. Yesterday I was telling you about this account at Where Forbidden. They are just brilliant. I mean, talk about somebody who has the creative force within them. They have dropped a new Erica Kirk video, and it might be my favorite. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Take a listen.
Erica, what are you doing out here? Shabbat shalom. I choose you, Pickle Puff.
Positive evidence.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Positive evidence.
Pickle Puff, attack.
Positive evidence. Positive evidence.
Pickle Puff, do something.
Positive evidence.
This was a terrible investment.
Positive evidence.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Shapiro.
It's just absolutely brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. The comedy that is coming out right now. Again, like I said, we have reached critical mass with this. And so setting up these influencers and wasting money doesn't work. Just sit down, have a full conversation. I mean, it's just so easy. Like I said, there obviously, not just could be, there are likely a ton of things that we have gotten wrong as we have pursued this investigation. And I'm saying, when I say we, I'm referring to all of the investigators, independent investigators, whether that Nissy, Baron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Coach Colin. I'm sure we have made some errors, but we did not make them knowingly, and we wish to correct them if we did make them. The best way to solve this is to just sit down and be honest. I actually taught a great lesson yesterday or last week in my debate when we turned Andrew Wilson by the end of it into a conspiracy theorist who thought that I was receiving text messages
Hold
on
up,
my phone.
y'all. I gotta film. Hold on. We're back. Sorry.
Who reminded me of what the charges were, and then thought that I must have been receiving them through Signal or through Telegram. What did I do? At first day I said, here's my phone. If there's no conspiracy, there's no conspiracy.
Exactly. She did that. I would have done that too, because I don't have nothing that can go through my phone. I would have did that too. She literally gave the phone. Like, what? She gave her phone.
Transparency is the best way to debunk any and every conspiracy, if that's what you call them, alternative theories. I demonstrated that.
Yep.
You have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide. So I don't understand why Turning Point won't engage in that by just sitting down and having Erica answer every possible question about what happened on that day. Andrew Colbert, Blake Neff. Here's my phone, here you go. This is what happened. Here's where I was. We're not getting that. And the longer that it takes, and then when you choose to finally share some daylight, you pick Andrew Wilson and you give him a text message never before seen. By the way, it's still never before seen because we haven't seen it. He's teasing it. I can't wait. Another little trap. I can't wait for that text message to be publicized. I'm so glad just even knowing that it exists, that it was in Andrew's hand. That's already helpful for me. And we'll take a brief break, and I will come back and respond to some of your questions and comments. Comment from yesterday's episode, top comments. There's 3 of them. Kay writes, somebody's comment said, if you play the Andrew Wilson debate at 1.75 speed, bro's foot turns into a fan. I actually have to do that. That is hilarious. Nikki writes, paying someone $100,000 an hour to be humiliated is a rather expensive fetish. Indeed it is. Trillion writes, this debate is positive evidence that Turning Point USA has terrible PR. Overwhelmingly, I am overwhelmed that it is positive evidence that their PR strategy has just been an open and shut disaster from start to finish. It's unbelievable. They cannot stop blundering. Comments from today's episode, the one you feed writes, Candace, please make sure that they did not do a BB and leave a bug in your house. First off, the zone that they were in is not a place that we are regularly, other than when we actually film the show. And secondly, of course, George has already had the house swept for bugs. That was like the first thing he did, especially when we learned the Stephen Creeper and crew were here. Alicia Switzer writes, Ian Carroll did a great reaction video, 6 hours, and it was great. Kudos to him for calling the BS as we all saw it and stopping to call it out. I can't wait to get my new second favorite shirt. Stay amazing. We will continue supporting you. Much love from Missouri. I actually saw just clips of him, and I've shared some of them, and they're hilarious. And I do want to, when I have time this weekend, watch his reaction video, because so many people have said that it was absolutely amazing. So shout out to Ian Carroll for that. And yes, you can support us. We do have, this is my second favorite shirt, available on the website, merch. If you go to CandaceOwens.com, as we have learned, if you are going to commit a crime, please wear your second favorite shirt. So please wear this shirt in particular. Buy it, wear it, do crime, but be smart. Don't wear your favorite shirt, because it's just not a good idea. And of course, it is in maroon. And we also have the shirts and the mugs from our debate classic. I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. Amazingly, he is still asking questions. He does not comprehend. He does not comprehend hearsay. And
I wonder if
the
this is like for
now,
men too?
getting fact checks, community notes on X, because they're like, right here it says that they spoke to the mom. Look at this warrant, the probable cause warrant. And Twitter just had to come in and explain to him, no, this is not a direct quotation from the mom. This is an officer that is signing a probable cause warrant. He's had days and he still cannot comprehend this. So we are really hoping that Andrew Wilson will be able to understand it. We are done explaining it. It is now on him, incumbent upon Andrew Wilson, to do his best to sit down and understand why we are saying he is a hypocrite for allowing the courts to do what he says that we can't, which is to take a look at evidence and to infer upon it. He just doesn't get it, man. It's just not all there. James Gray writes, the fact that a woman-hating man paid $300K to be dog-walked by a woman is insane. Congrats, Candace. You are a gentlewoman and a scholar. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like I said, I am very proud of myself because I knew that it was Turning Point's horse. Even just them saying, we had nothing to do with him, and then his opening statement, it just is incredible. It's like there's just not a brain cell split between Erica and Andrew Colbert and Blake Neff. Like, obviously, it's not a good idea. Like, give yourselves some plausible deniability. DJ Peluso writes, because I know people can be evil. I would like everybody as a homework assignment to practice that in the mirror. The way he did it was compelling. Good performance. Didn't give me Denzel Washington, but I think that he put in a good effort. And I think my third one was good, like a little bit off to the side. Because people can be evil. That's good. I'm warming up there. Blackest Panther writes, reason Turning Point USA wanted Andrew to debate was to attempt to absolve Israel from any possible implications surrounding the case. Yeah, that was the obvious focus, Israel and Erica, which then puts a spotlight on Israel and Erica because you don't want to debate the case, but you just want to say, but it's not Israel and Erica. Why can't they comprehend that? Why is everyone's social IQ so low as to not realize that if you keep pushing it's not Israel though, right? It's not Israel. Then people go, maybe it's Israel. It's weird. Why would he come in here wanting to talk about Israel? His opening statement, he starts talking about Israel. Why? Like, this is just a weird thing for you to do. Look, if he had proven the debate claim, his debate claim that there was overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did this, he would naturally then absolve Israel from any guilt. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to absolve Israel from any guilt without having to prove his statement. Weird focus. Zamet writes, a burden bestowed on Candace Owens is a blessing to us all. That's very funny. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. It's just, I don't like having to give out these punishments and sentencing people to more truth, but this is just the way things work in the court of law here, in my court, in my house, where I am the magistrate and I reign supreme. You can't be doing that. You can't just be bringing people with just no type of values, no type of decorum, people whose wives act like a Jerry Springer episode, waiting to have him like make you beg to bring Maury back on air. It can't be like this, Turning Point. You're scraping too hard at the bottom of that barrel right now. Anna writes, if the text said that he feared the left was going to take him out, why wouldn't Joe Kent leave that message? Make it make sense. These people endlessly contradict themselves. Keep going, Max. Because they are relying on us to have a short memory. Of course, if he was handing messages over as he was, of people that Charlie felt threatened by or anything that could be significant, that would have been the first message that was handed over. And certainly they would have expressed it publicly, that Charlie was fearful that the left was going to kill him the night before. Instead, they denied it for 4 months and then had Erica deny it on Glenn Beck, or rather stayed mum on it for 4 months and then had Erica deny it on Glenn Beck. And then when it backfired, they were like, oh no, there's messages, but like it says the left. Suspicious timeline, in my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. Joey D. April writes, DebateGate is worthy of its own spot in the official Candace timeline. I'm going to put random things in the timeline now, because I just know how angry they are about the timeline. Like, they're all just like, why is it in your timeline? How could you put this in your timeline? I'm just going to be like, Candace went to Whole Foods. No evidence needed. Whoa. Candace went to the farmer's market. Like, we're going to start putting just random little tricky stuff in the timeline.
Oh my gosh.
And see who has a heart attack about it on X. It's my timeline. It's my timeline.
Hold on.
Strange reason to question me about my timeline.
That's happened twice now.
Pride in. And I saw some people commenting going, Candace, I didn't even think this is like another level. I had mentioned that I even organized my fridge and that it says like, sauces. I use my maker and it says sauces and dairy and things in those side compartments. And then we have little turntable trays inside of the fridge. Yeah, go Max. Organize. Get to the Container Store and do that. Shout out to the suburban moms who just need it. When you have a lot of kids, you got to be organized like this. Like, I organize their clothes. It's so freeing. It feels so good to be organized. So I will be darned if anybody thinks that they're going to come from my timeline and I'm not going to stand up for myself. So me and Ashley worked hard on that timeline. Right, Ashley? Yes, we did. And we were pretty fired up when she almost came in from that. Things almost got physical when he addressed the timeline, but I kept my composure. Like, I was ready to knock him out. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't do that. Golf Mamie writes, Cadence, thinking much right, Candace. Golf Mommy, spelled M-A-M-I. Side note, I was listening to Kanye this weekend and came across the song Stars, and I was expecting to hear, all right, you guys, my heart raced, LOL, you have good taste in music. Thank you very much. That is our intro. I wish I made that a full song. It really is just an intro, which is unfortunate, but yes, I absolutely love Ye. I love just who he was and how hard he fought for himself. I love the song Power, the different phases of his life, and recognizing how much you have to fight for custody of your own soul once you make it. And that is why I love the song Power so much, because I feel like I've gotten to a place where they expect you to sell your soul, and I don't want to do that. Not to the highest bidder, not to anyone. And that has been the reason why I am focused on this case, because Charlie was my friend, and what has happened here is unacceptable, and what Turning Point has become is unacceptable, in my opinion. Anyway, you guys, we will see you tomorrow.
So I guess she goes live every day? I'm not sure.